I'm going to answer another thought shifting question, and then I'll go into some other people's questions. Okay. This is Kelly K, and she's in Oregon. Kelly K has asked me other questions about thought shifting before. But Kelly K asked me, why am I the only one to do thought shifting? I'm going to have a couple answers to this. Am I the only one to do thought shifting? Could you empower and teach people to develop their own thought shifting abilities? There's really two parts to this question. Okay, so the first question has a couple parts. Why am I the only one to do thought shifting? My first answer is, I don't know. I mean, I can say I don't know, but I do sort of know. I know that it's just part of the plan of rolling it out to the planet, is the way that I want to put it. So if there were like a whole bunch of people doing thought shifting, like there are a whole bunch of people do EFT, it's going to get diluted, and because of its power, the universe or the powers that be don't want it to get diluted. So that's part of the answer to that. So the other thing is, it takes a lot of power. It takes a whole lot of power. So people have said to me, well, I think I can just do it myself, so I'm going to go do it. And I'll say, go to town. I can't say that you can't do it yourself. I can't say that. What I can say is I've never found anybody who could. It doesn't mean that you aren't the exception to the rule. So what I know for sure is it takes a lot of power. And I've been told by various psychics and things like that I have what's a great receiver, meaning that I have this great ability to take in a lot of information from all over the universe, like I don't know what, a magnet or something that's attracting all this stuff. And I also have the ability to handle all that power, and that has not been something that's just happened overnight. That's been something that's been progressive throughout my entire life. I've been placed in situations where I've had to learn how to be in my power and how to exert my power, and I continually get placed in those situations to where I'm more and more powerful. And what I will say is, you know, when you're doing this work, this isn't necessarily a picnic. It's funny. People will look at what I'm able to do and the capability, and they want it for themselves. And part of that is ego, frankly. And it's not necessarily a walk in the park when you start doing this work. When your job is to remove negativity from the planet, there are a lot of forces that want to work against that, because this planet wants to maintain the status quo. This planet is primarily ruled by the dark side. Okay, so the reason that we talk about things like light workers and things like that becomes an anomaly, is because there are not so many of those people on this planet right now. It is primarily ruled by people that are operating from dark energy. I can measure that, and it's funny. One of my clients the other day, he asked me, well, how dark is this planet? Most people, to give you an idea, are operating at about 20% dark energy. So even if you're a very light, loving person, you still are influenced by the planet, and you have some dark energy that has an influence over you, okay? The planet is 81% dark. So most of the people I work with are in the 20s. I won't shift anybody all the way if they're 25% and above, because I do not want to empower the dark side. I used to set it at 49%, but that's too close to 50. And I had people that abused that, and I would shift them, and they would come from dark energy, and then they would use their power for evil, basically, and I would have to unshift them. And I told this to one of my clients the other day. He goes, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, I can do it, and I can undo it. So, and I have done that. I've had to do that with people that were they were taking their dark energy and they were using it the wrong way. So I now have a barometer. I will not let you get shifted at level 4 if you have too much dark energy. But I also find that I'm not really tending to attract very much of that anymore. But I still do attract a lot of attacks from the dark, because they would love to do nothing more than undermine this work. And what happens is I have to learn to be progressively more and more powerful. And I have to learn that not only so that I can do this work, but so that I can teach other people. So that's really the answer to that question. You know, that's been my journey for my life. It's what I came here to do. It's my purpose. We all have our own purpose, and we all have our own unique purpose. And our purpose is not necessarily the same purpose as somebody else's. So we shouldn't really be lusting after or wanting to do what other people are doing. We should be wanting to do what we came here to do. What is our purpose? Okay. So, I said a mouthful with a lot of that. Okay, so this has to do with purpose. It has to do with power. It has to do with the plan, how the planet works. And I teach people about this in my level 1 program, because if you don't understand how the planet works, you can't work within the guidelines to create a change. You have to get how the planet works. So that's part of the reason. But still, I can't say that you can't shift yourself. I could never say that. Somehow I was able to be shifted. I believe it was what I called my pals shifting me, but I thought it was this machine I was working with, and turns out it was never the machine, and it was always me when I was working with other people. So I have no idea how I got shifted. I thought it was the machine. It wasn't. That machine is physically incapable of operating at the frequencies that I'm taking people to, so it was impossible. So I don't know. I can't say that you couldn't do it. I can never say that. All I can say is what you should be doing is your purpose, and then you don't really worry about everything else. Could you empower and teach people to develop their own thought-shifting abilities? It won't really be like that. I am aware that at a certain point, I will definitely have people helping me. It starts with people teaching and training my work, and I've already got some people kind of prepped up for that right now. And then there may be people that are doing thought-shifting, but it'll sort of work like this. I'll actually be able to give you a download. So it's not your thought-shifting abilities, it's I am giving you the ability. And at a certain point, I will be able to do that. I don't know when that is. It's whenever is the right timing on the planet. So I've become aware that I'll be able to do that. So it won't be like I'm teaching classes, teaching you how to do thought shifting. I'll just say, boom, you know how to do thought shifting. And and then again, because it requires a lot of power, it also takes a lot of responsibility. I have to really watch my thoughts at a completely different level than what most people do. So all of that is really training and teaching around it, around the actual ability. So it'll be when the time is right. That I'll be able to do that. But again, I would say if that's something that appeals to you, then the way to find out about that is go through the programs. Level 1, start with level 1, and see if you resonate with that, because you may not resonate with that. Maybe you have your own healing thing going on, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. What I do find is that when people come to me and they're already doing some kind of healing work, so let's say Reiki or hypnosis or really anything like that, they're already some kind of practitioner, their work always becomes more powerful. Because if you think of it like Reiki as a certain frequency, like if you think of the alphabet like A to C, okay, what I'm giving you with the thought shifting is this very broad frequency. I can't say it's entirely A to Z, but it's very all-encompassing, okay? It's a much broader frequency. So you have access to a lot more stuff when you're healing people. So people have even suggested to me that when people are doing physical healing that I give that a name once they've been thought shifted, because the energy is so much more powerful and it definitely changes. So if you're doing any kind of work like that, what I find is the practitioners that come to me, they always get better at what they're doing, whatever it is, even if they're doing something different, because they are exposed to this broader frequency. Okay. So I hope that helps. Your healing ability does increase and improve just by being shifted.